We're here interviewing Vinay Nair, CEO and co-founder of Lightful. Welcome.
Thank you, Erin.
So tell us a little bit about yourself and what led you to your current career.
Yeah, well, I guess in some ways it's almost two parts to my career. I'm originally from India. I grew up in Ireland, moved to London, and I kind of stumbled into the world of investment banking. I was a bit of a lefty and kind of fell in, didn't think I'd be there for that long, and ended up staying for quite a long time, almost 10 years. But never quite, to be honest, felt fully fulfilled in terms of what I was doing in the evenings and weekends, which gave me much more satisfaction working with kind of really exciting charities and social enterprises. And about 9 years ago, I shifted my career across into the world of social impact, working with some really amazing charities like the Clinton Foundation and Acumen Fund, and working in the field of social impact investing, and really working on things like finance and technology, of how that could really help great causes to amplify their impact. And I guess in many ways, that's what's brought me to Lightful today.
And tell us about the platform. How did Lightful start?
Having spent a lot of time working in charities, with charities, we really started feeling a lot of the pain points that recurred, lack of time, lack of money, lack of resources that were often holding great organizations back from delivering the best that they could. And what felt quite interesting was in different parts of the economy, often really random ones, obviously takeaway and mini cabs, but even like massage and dry cleaning, technology was playing a really interesting role. We thought, wait a minute, for the sector that matters most, shouldn't we be putting technology to seeing where it actually can play a role? And me and a couple of friends, co-founders, Carlos Miranda and Johnny Mernan, put our heads together and realized that there was an opportunity to work with some larger charities and social enterprises to understand how we can help them raise awareness, support, and really strengthen their communities, but also build a platform where some smaller charities and social enterprises who have existing Twitter and Facebook and LinkedIn and so on can actually have a platform where they could plug that in and have an easy-to-use social media and campaign management platform so that they can directly address some of those pain points, really strengthen the relationship with their supporters, and have it built so that it's around campaigns, around community. So we have very unique relationships with the causes that we care about. And actually, by having a social media management platform that plays to those strengths, we can really support organizations, and that's what led us to build Lightful as it is today.
There are lots of social media tools that are used by charities. What makes Lightful different?
There are a lot of social media tools out there, but what struck us was they aren't really fit for purpose. We have a really unique sector. Sometimes the larger charities and social enterprises might be served what existed out there, but often the kind of, let's be honest, the diet or slimline versions of what was being served for the private sector didn't really suit what was needed for our sector. And so we spent a lot of time with users, with charities, small, medium-sized, to understand what it was that they needed and how we could better support them. And by understanding that they really wanted to raise awareness, support, funds, really address some of the pain points that they had, as I've mentioned, this lack of time, lack of resources, lack of money, we could build a social media campaign management platform that worked for them, really built around this idea of campaigns, whether it's a Christmas campaign, a fundraising campaign, awareness campaign, and so on, built around having a community where our sector can learn from each other, things that aren't working, things that are working, understand what is resonating with supporters, understand how it might be different to run a campaign to raise funds versus raise awareness. And by building that, helping to find inspirational content that works with relevant hashtags, RSS feeds, help to kind of schedule it out so you're saving time over the course of across Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, know what's working, and actually being able to do more of that, being able to collaborate with your colleagues, sometimes not even in your team, might be in events or fundraising or comms, and being able to pull that together for our sector. We've really got wonderful feedback from our customers who are using the platform to say, this works for us, you kind of get us, because of course we are sort of the sector and we've built it for the sector so we can help organizations to tell their stories and amplify their impact, really.
How do you feel about the sector at the moment?
It's a good question because I feel a couple of things. One, I do feel a little bit beaten up. I think, even the other day I read another kids company article. I'm like, come on, seriously, this is still what we're talking about? I get why we are, and there are challenges, and this, whether it's regulatory challenges, GDPR, I think the fundraising preference service is throwing up some interesting and difficult issues as well. I feel at some level we're being attacked from all sides, and that I find challenging. But there's also something on the back of the tragedies and difficult times we had, from Manchester to the Grenfell fire to Finsbury to Westminster to London Bridge, and so on. There is a real increased sense of community that is happening. And if you look at the exceptional role that charities, social enterprises have played during these times, and the support that we've had from the general public, both in terms of funding, but actually in terms of commitment, time, support, and actually a faith and trust in our organizations to help deal with what is clearly a divided, hurting population, society out there, I actually have taken a lot of inspiration from that. And I think we do have a unique moment and in a difficult time to actually have the third sector play a critical role right now. And, that's actually fueling me, whether it's, sure, our bit is around technology. There are so many other elements that feed in. A chance to put our sector at the heart of addressing some of these issues that, even though there are headwinds, I think, motivates me to charge forward.
How do you feel technology can help the sector?
It gets to the heart, I guess, Erin, of what we do. And I think it actually has a critical role to play. I've taken inspiration. I was a judge at this wonderful, fairly new Charity Governance Awards a couple of months ago. I was at the IOF convention, saw some of the award winners across the board. And it's really interesting to see how organizations aren't just thinking, oh, I need to have a social media manager, or I need to understand how this fits into comms, but actually that recognizing that technology is an enabler, as we say, that cuts across teams, that it works for both supporting beneficiary delivery, but also really to work with events and fundraising and comms to help tell the stories that our sector has. We're kind of lucky. Private companies hire agencies to say, hey, can you help tell us an interesting story about ourselves? We have the best stories to tell. And technology and social media is made for that. People on the go, it's not this sort of sense of interrupting them by sharing really compelling stories. So both from a communications perspective, I think that storytelling is really resonating. And by engaging with our supporters to broadcast these messages, we can really amplify and rise above the noise that exists in the sector to get our sector grabbing more of the airtime and distracting away from some of the noise that exists. But also, what I'm quite inspired by is that there are more and more organizations that are seeing how social media and digital technology can act as a way to fundraise, to produce a return on investment from your investment in social media, but not just as a kind of one-off transactional piece, but how you can then understand who gave what, create a tag for the donation that got given, so that you can then communicate for that particular donation, this is the impact of the work that you've had. And again, what thrills me, as you can tell, is that technology is just that all those pieces exist and are frankly working well with other sectors. And I really feel it's an opportunity for us to make it work better for the sector that matters the most.
What is Lightful's mission?
I shared a little bit about why we set up, and really, ultimately, we want to see stronger relationships between the people who want to see a better world and the great causes making it happen. And that's why we've set it up, and that literally motivates us every day.
And thanks so much for joining us. How can people find out more about Lightful?
Well, thank you for the chance to plug. We'd love loads of charities and social enterprises to visit us on www.lightful.com. Really, we think there's a great opportunity to make social media work for social good, and we encourage people to get in touch and give us a shout and be part of our journey to hopefully achieve that.